Everyone, I'm Maegan Lemp and welcome to the Quick Pause. This is a project designed to explore the value of micro-pauses throughout the day. This practice started for me as 3 to 6 minute little mini meditations, but I have really expanded it and I have been amazed at how I can have a change in mindset or even learn a new skill when I pause for just a few minutes. And I thought it would be fun to collaborate with people I admire and see what we experience when we stop and pause together. And today I am so pleased to be joined by Fotini Iconomopoulos. Hi Fotini, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I had the great opportunity to get acquainted with and hear Fotini speak at a Women Empowering Women event in St. Louis this year. And I went open, but not knowing if negotiation skills were something I was interested in. And as Fotini said to me in an email, I really had a change in mindset. And I realized that in my personal experience, life is full of encounters with other people, and those encounters are rich with the opportunity to be clear about what we want and the many negotiations and decisions that happen moment by moment throughout life. And so I'm so pleased to share that with other people because it has had such a positive impact in my life. As I continue to follow Fotini, I'm learning more and more. And I thought you might want to share that too. So Fotini, welcome and thank you for joining us for today's Quick Pause.
It's my pleasure. I love the idea of the pause in general, so that other people have been adopting it and using it in other ways is just music to my ears.
Yes. So what do you feel like we can learn in just a few minutes from you about pausing and negotiation? And what do you have to share with us today?
Well, in my world, I mean, I'm a negotiation consultant, which means I travel from company to company. We're helping them through real life negotiations. So when a massive global retailer is breathing down their necks or something like that, I'm the one that they call in and go, what do we do? What do we say? Or I train their teams on how to become more effective in those corporate negotiations. But more recently, I've been spending a lot more time with my audiences talking about the holistic negotiations that happen every single day. So it's not just about, negotiating in the boardroom. It's about the opportunities you have with your children, with your partner, with everyday interactions that you have. Even if you're stepping on public transit, you're having a negotiation for someone for your own personal space. Sometimes no words are ever spoken. And every time you have an interaction with somebody, that is an opportunity for you to enter the fight or flight mode. Because what happens is, if we go way back millions of years ago, our ancestors were faced with physical threats all the time. It could have been something like a saber-toothed tiger. And at that time, that's when their brain basically would lose all rational thought and all of that energy would leave the brain and go to their limbs. And that's what allowed them to run like hell to get away from that saber-toothed tiger. It's like they got this superhuman strength. Well, today we're not faced with very many physical threats, but we are faced with intellectual threats. And those intellectual threats can come in different forms. It's not just in the boardroom. It's somebody who's going to potentially bruise your ego. It's feeling defensive in a moment. It is anything that is going to kind of have a ripple effect on your kind of calm over the course of the day. But what's happening is we're still having the same physiological responses to stress, even though we're not faced with the physical stress. So what happens is our brains go into overdrive. All of that rational thought leaves our brain. And you have those moments where you go, oh God, why did I do that? Or I should have said this. Every time I talk to an audience of people, when I'm in the public speaking world, when I'm in the MBA classroom, when I'm in a corporate environment, they always tell me, I wish I could have done this. This is what we should have done in that moment. We all have those moments of regret. But what if we could prevent those moments of regret? What if we could just find a way to calm the mind down in those moments of stress? And everybody has a different way of doing it. Some people will take a meditative breath and breathe in for 4, hold for 6, and breathe out for 8. Some will do a visualization of themselves in their happy place. Maybe it's on a beach in Mexico with a margarita in hand. Others, including studies show us that even sports stars will get the pep talk in the locker room about recalling a past victory of some kind. And that gets the brain into a much more positive place. All of those things are tools to press what I call your mental pause button. And so I always talk about this little pause button to go, when you're faced with a moment of stress, whatever that stress cue might be, what can you do to access that button? Is it about just taking a beat and saying nothing for a second? You might feel super awkward and uncomfortable. I guarantee you that's more in your head than it is in the other person's eyes. If you just take that moment to be present and think about what is the next logical thing for me to say or do, that other person is going to be on the edge of their seat going, ooh, what's going through their head right now? What did I do wrong? How can I help serve this person? Because you're taking that pause and taking ownership of that pause can be far more powerful and confident than you realize. So not only is it helping your brain to calm down and allowing that rational thought to come back in and make better decisions, but you're also giving a perception to the other party that you're not just somebody who's like a nervous Nelly and who's going to do something foolish and all the rest of it. So you're managing their perceptions while you're also managing what's happening in your brain. So I tell people to find their mental pause button, whatever you need to do to access it. There's so many different tools that work for different people. For some, it may even be writing something down. If you're having a moment of doubt, write it down, get it out of your system. But whatever that tool may be, find it, use it, lean on it when you have those moments. Even if it's a moment when your toddler's having a temper tantrum, maybe a deep breath from you will help to calm them. Because we also know from research that telling somebody to calm down is not going to work. But what they will do is mirror your behavior. So if you start to calm your breathing, they're going to calm down as well. If you're ever holding a little baby, if you're nervous, they're going to get nervous. But if they can feel your heartbeat slowing down a little bit, if they can feel your breath slowing down, if your pace slows down, if your volume slows down, that's the pausing, right? That's slowing things down for just a minute. And that can help you survive so many different circumstances in your life well outside of the boardroom.
Yes, so that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Fotini is doing, so happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Fotini is doing a wonderful project on Instagram right now that if you're not following her, I will list her website and how to follow her in the description of this video. I have been getting so much out of her 40 to 40, where you just got a little taste of what she's talking about. The themes that have been positively impacting me of acknowledging our power and becoming self-aware and pausing are just a few of the amazing ideas that you can take into your everyday life that she is sharing day by day in this fun project on Instagram. So Fotini, thank you so much for being with us and sharing what's possible for us.
Well, thank you for inviting me and sharing with your audience as well.